Did it start again? Actually, can you?
I actually came because my back, I'd moved house, and I started to have problems with my back, and came to see you.
And what was what happened when you were here? What was the result?
We started talking about how I'd hurt my back, and from that conversation, actually, it came out that I was in a bad relationship for 12 years. We started talking more about just me generally as a person, and how my life really, and how I'd got to this, how I'd got to where I am today.
And what was the technique? What was the Wellsbeing technique? How did that work?
The Wellsbeing technique, so it started again with just asking me how was my life, how was I viewing the world, how was I, what was going on in my life, what trauma was in my life, what events, and emotionally where I was sitting at that time, rather than just actually physically, yes, there was pain, but actually emotionally, where are you in your life? That transpired into that I'd been in this really bad relationship, that had just broken up about a year prior. I'd moved house, and the fact that my body must have been so tense by that time because of the trauma of the breakup of a relationship, moving house, 2 children, had put my body into this really sort of tense position over a constant period of time, that by the time I moved house, I was picking up boxes, sofas, wardrobes, and the back had gone. So actually it was a result more not of the physical moving house and picking up the boxes, but actually the emotional trauma that had got my body into that tense position, that then I was asking my body to do more and more, that actually hurt my back.
So how effective was the technique?
Really effective. We started talking about what really was the problem emotionally in my life. We talked about past bereavement of my young son, the bereavement of my father, but mostly because those things were quite a while ago and I'd kind of workshopped them. But actually, emotionally, this breakup of this relationship was weighing very heavy on my mind at the time, heavier than I thought it was. It was still ongoing, there were still things to sort out, there was still finances. So, and the more we talked about that, I realised that actually it was those emotions that were making me, even talking about it now, I want to bring my shoulders up, I want to sort of close, do you know what I mean? That feeling of, and once you realise that it's that emotion that's bringing you to this very tense, tight, physical state, that yes, of course, as soon as you then go on to try and do something, your body's not...
How did you feel after the technique was delivered?
Lighter, so much lighter. I was amazed. You did it twice in that first session. I remember the tears pouring down my face from the first session of going back to those dark thoughts, dark places, horrible. And afterwards, you asked me how I was. I didn't know. I couldn't work out how I felt, because all of a sudden I felt lighter. It didn't seem possible. Your head is saying, well, that can't be true. But I am feeling lighter. Why am I feeling lighter? Is it because we've talked about it? Is it because of the technique that's happened? And as you then you go away from here and you think about how you're feeling, and how you think that's not just a chat that's done that. There is something more to this that has actually really released me. I started to just smile about it. It was actually that's to understand it, and then to feel it. So we did the whole of the talk of how we got here, the understanding of what you were going to do, then it happened, then it worked, there was something was released, was actually, gosh, I feel lighter in myself.
Has that lasted?
Yes, and the more it's gone on, I've been back, we've done it a couple more times, every time it's happened, more and more I feel lighter and lighter. I can see it in just, my back has still been playing me up, that's not going to fix overnight, but actually me as a person, way lighter, and that's having an effect. I can now, if I feel I'm getting tense about something, I can feel it in myself. I know it's happening, and I can switch on no, calmer now. This is not the time. It makes it very aware of actually how I feel now, more aware.
What would you say to somebody wanting to come or think about coming?
You've got nothing to lose. Give it a go. you know, and actually it's not the most pleasant of experiences, as in the thought that it's not a painful experience, not by any means, but the thought of it where you're actually not made to, but you know, the idea is that you are going to think about something that you're not that comfortable with, but knowing that coming out the other side of that, you're not going to be thinking about it. You're going to look at it in a whole different way. You are going to feel lighter. It is gone. It is done. You know, you don't want to, and you don't want to go back there. You don't want to. And every time I think about my past relationship or how difficult that was, it makes me smile now.
Do you have to talk about the experience?
Do I talk?
Do you share the emotions or the experience, or did you keep it silent and private?
I did keep it silent and private, I think, way more than I needed to. But now, no, I say to people, it's you know, this happened. I feel much more able to cope with the whole emotional side of it, and way stronger emotionally for it.
But did you have to tell me the problem, or did you just have to think about the problem to get rid of it?
Now I just really think, if you can think about it.
Just when you're there, you just lay down there.
Yeah, and just thought it. Yeah,
didn't have to talk.
Yeah,
So
we would. Yeah.
Did you have to think about it or tell me?
No, I just think about it now. Just we're talking about other things, or you know, just things in general. I don't have to really think about it at all. I don't. It just happens. I think because
what I'm trying to ask is that when you did the release, did you have to talk about it, or did you imagine it? Did you think about it? You lay there, you thought about it. You didn't have to tell me.
You're not talking about that You're not talking about that particular incident. It's sort of in your head, but you're not talking about that. You're talking about the things. It's in your head, but it's gone. Once it's done, it's gone.